Festival UnWrapped is our opportunity at the Opera House to bring to our audiences some important works in terms of expressing something that we might not see elsewhere. And in this particular Festival UnWrapped, I've actually focused on people telling part of their own story. So it's not that it's all, distinctly autobiographical, but it is people absolutely bringing themselves and their life stories into the work. What this does is that cumulatively it paints a much bigger picture about contemporary society, about who we are and where we are right now. Well, I love Ima Sumac, the Peruvian songbird, because I love Ali McGregor. She's such an extraordinary performer. So here's this woman who's basically a cabaret and opera star who has made her own show which celebrates another woman. So it's effectively a love story across oceans and continents and decades. So it tells Ima's story, but from the warmth and beauty of Ali's perspective. And Ali is, of course, backed up by an 8-piece band, so it's fantastic. The music is just brilliant. Do you know Adele Hurry is actually an artist who many people will encounter her for the first time when they come to the Opera House to see her. So she's a Torres Strait Islander mainlander, so she was brought up in Rockhampton, and she tells her own story in this work. And of course, by telling her own story, she uses all of her languages, which is storytelling, comedy, cultural dance, and contemporary dance. Genoa is going to be a great artist for the next 20 or 30 years, and we're going to see her nationally and internationally do all sorts of interesting things. William Yang is an extraordinary artist who brings his world into the broader culture through his photographs, through his particular photographic lens, but also through his really idiosyncratic way of telling anecdotes and stories. And William is actually joined in this show by stereogamists who are DJs Paul Mack and Johnny Seymour. So it's both the music and the photographs of the times. The director's a beautiful piece of work by Lara Toms with Scott Turnbull, who's an ex-funeral director. And I guess what they're trying to do is to let us know as an audience about some of the kind of quirky or actual things that happens to a body when somebody dies. So it's actually about the funeral industry, about which we know so little. It moves into a deeper space of loss and thinking about ourselves when we're dealing with loss. Of course, Playlist premiered last year in Fairfield, in a small theatre there, their home theatre, and it was brilliant to see it there. We need to be hearing from the artists of tomorrow, and what Karen Therese as the director and Larissa McGowan as the choreographer have done in working with those 5 young women is to begin with thinking about popular culture, thinking about the music that they listen to, the song track of their lives. And so in that process, in a world of Me Too, in a world that's pretty confusing, I think, a complex world, these young women just express their stories and their cultural preferences so confidently and so brilliantly that it's uplifting, it's powerful, like they're powerful young women. And I kind of left the theatre going, oh, the world is going to be in really, really good hands.